Everything has shifted, an almost imperceptible change, but one that's impossible to ignore once you notice it. It's happening in the places we call home, in the neighborhoods where we've built our lives and found comfort in the familiar. For many, home is more than just four walls. It's the scent of spices drifting through the air, the reassuring weight of a rice bag in your arms, and the comforting aisles of our local Asian supermarket, where every product tells a story. These stores are more than just places to buy food. They're vibrant community hubs, gathering places where neighbors meet, friendships are formed, and traditions are kept alive with every shared recipe and conversation. But lately, a quiet emptiness has crept in, casting a shadow over the once bustling aisles and leaving a sense of uncertainty in its wake. Familiar brands have vanished overnight, and certain vegetables, staples in so many kitchens, are nowhere to be found. Imagine reaching for the soy sauce your family has always used, only to find the shelf bare, or searching for a favorite snack that's suddenly missing from its usual spot. This isn't just a late shipment or a temporary shortage, it's a deliberate, widespread ban on American agricultural goods by the very supermarkets that once championed them. A decision that's rippling through every aisle. The reasons are tangled in international politics and economic pressures, far beyond the control of everyday shoppers, but the impact is deeply personal and immediate. Shoppers are forced to rethink recipes passed down for generations, improvising with unfamiliar ingredients, while store owners face monumental business challenges and worry about the future of their livelihoods. The emptiness on the shelves is more than a lack of goods. It's a disruption to the cultural fabric of our communities, a reminder of how interconnected our lives are with the world beyond our borders. And it all started with a political decision made far from these aisles, yet its consequences are felt most deeply right here, where we shop, cook, and gather with those we love. To understand why supermarket shelves suddenly went bare, we have to look beyond the aisles and into the complex web of global trade and politics. The answer begins in Washington, D.C., where decisions made in government offices can ripple out to affect everyday lives in unexpected ways. Recently, the U.S. government enacted sweeping tariffs, 125% on Chinese goods, 25% on South Korea, 47% on Vietnam, and 26% on India. These numbers aren't just statistics, they represent a dramatic shift in how goods move across borders. These tariffs ignited a trade war, with Asian countries quickly retaliating against American exports. Suddenly, the flow of goods that once seemed so reliable was thrown into chaos. American-grown produce, especially the specialty crops grown for Asian communities, became too expensive to export. Asian supermarkets here, which had long depended on these products, found themselves caught in the crossfire, unable to stock the foods their customers loved. These stores serve as lifelines for diverse communities, offering both imported specialties and American-grown Asian produce. For many families, these foods are more than just groceries, they're a connection to heritage and home. In protest and solidarity, Asian supermarket chains made the difficult decision to stop buying from U.S. farms, boycotting products they once championed. This was not just a business move, but a statement of identity and resistance. The impact was immediate. American farms specializing in Asian vegetables lost their biggest domestic customers, leaving fields full of unsold produce and workers facing uncertainty. The ban fractured economic relationships built over decades and left shelves bare. Not just a supply chain issue, but a visible symbol of political turmoil and broken trust. The consequences ripple through every aisle. Each empty spot is a silent reminder of the larger forces at play, and of how quickly the familiar can disappear. What was meant to protect American interests has instead divided communities, disrupted daily routines, and left many feeling powerless in the face of global conflict. The paradox is stark. American farms are left with mountains of surplus, while shoppers search in vain for the tastes of home that once brought comfort and connection. The story of empty shelves is ultimately a story of broken connections between countries, communities, and the people who depend on each other for the food on their tables. The impact of these tariffs and bans is felt in every shopping trip. For many, a simple visit to the supermarket has become a source of anxiety and uncertainty, as familiar routines are upended by rising costs and shrinking options. Prices for essentials have soared. Shoppers now find themselves double-checking price tags, calculating what they can afford, and sometimes leaving behind items they once considered staples. A bottle of soy sauce or a bag of jasmine rice now costs much more. These are not just ingredients, they are the flavors of home, and their rising prices are felt deeply. For families, this means tough choices, sometimes giving up the foods that connect them to their heritage. Parents must explain to their children why favorite snacks or traditional ingredients are missing from the dinner table. Mrs. Chen, a grandmother, says, "I come here to buy the food I grew up with. Now everything is so expensive or it's simply not here." She worries about passing on family recipes, and wonders if her grandchildren will ever taste the dishes she once made with ease. Younger shoppers feel their connection to tradition slipping away. For them, the supermarket was a bridge to their roots, but now that bridge feels fragile, threatened by forces beyond their control. Vendors and small business owners are also struggling. Many have watched loyal customers hesitate or walk away, unable to afford the new prices. Many built relationships with American farmers who grew the produce their customers wanted. These partnerships, once a source of pride, are now strained or broken. Mr. Lee, a vegetable stall owner, says, "For 15 years I bought Napa cabbage from a California farm. Now I can't, the quality isn't the same and my customers notice." He fears losing the trust he's built over decades. The disruption threatens the survival of these small businesses. Some have already closed their doors, while others fight to stay afloat, hoping for relief. The international grocery sector, once booming, now faces turmoil. Once busy aisles are quieter and the sense of community is fading. Shopkeepers, cashiers, and stall owners are caught between political forces and community needs. They do their best to serve, but every day brings new challenges. Their livelihoods are at risk, and every empty shelf is a reminder of the human cost. The absence of familiar foods is more than an inconvenience. It's a loss of culture and comfort. The supermarket floor is now a place of worry, adaptation, and resilience. Workers and shoppers alike must find new ways to cope, to support each other, and to hold on to hope. The community feels the loss in every meal, every conversation. Each gathering is tinged with memories of what once was, and uncertainty about what's to come. The trade war's true cost is measured in these daily struggles, felt not just in dollars, but in the quiet sacrifices and the resilience of those determined to endure. As the US-Asia trade dispute deepened, Asian supermarkets faced a massive sourcing problem. Into the gap stepped Canada, with its vast farms and stable trade ties. Canadian farmers quickly adapted, growing Asian vegetables and expanding tofu and soy production. Trade organizations forged new partnerships with Asian supermarket chains, promising steady supplies. Almost overnight, Canada became the primary provider for many essential goods. Shoppers now find "Product of Canada" labels where American produce once sat. This shift has been a lifeline for supermarkets and a boon for Canadian agriculture. But relying on a single source raises new questions about long-term food security. The switch to Canadian suppliers is a logistical feat. Take bok choy grown in British Columbia or Ontario. Farmers adapted their fields to meet Asian market standards. After harvest, it's washed, packed, and loaded onto refrigerated trucks bound for the US. The journey is tightly coordinated to keep produce fresh. At distribution centers, quality is checked before shipments go to stores. Within hours, Canadian bok choy is on the shelf, ready for shoppers. Shoppers see "Product of Canada" and feel relief that familiar staples are back. This new supply chain now delivers tofu, noodles, and sauces from Canada too. The market's resilience is clear, but the shift is a stark reminder of how politics can reroute our food. Every meal now tells a story of adaptation. While national headlines focused on tariffs, a local drama unfolded in Fresno, California. At River Park Farmers Market, Asian food vendors were abruptly told they could no longer sell their food. The reason: to avoid competition with nearby restaurants, a move that felt discriminatory and targeted. Vendors like Sticky Rice on Wheels lost their main source of income overnight. The ban sparked outrage, with "No more Asian vendors" circulating on social media. Official explanations contradicted each other, fueling suspicion of deeper prejudice. This local conflict mirrored national tensions, showing how economic anxiety can breed exclusion. It was a stark reminder that the fight for a place at the table is both global and deeply personal. The Fresno ban didn't go unchallenged. The community responded with outrage and solidarity, flooding social media and local news with support for the vendors. Peaceful protests and rallies followed, with advocates demanding respect and transparency. Fellow vendors like Miguel Quisp spoke out in support, showing unity across cultures. Granite Park offered displaced vendors a new home, providing a crucial lifeline. Under public pressure, River Park management promised a fair review of all vendors. The community's response turned exclusion into collective action. It proved that unity can challenge injustice and create belonging. When a community stands together, it can rewrite the story. Asian supermarkets and food vendors aren't waiting for change, they're adapting and innovating. Supermarket chains are building strong partnerships with Canadian farmers, sharing knowledge and marketing new products. Chefs are reformulating recipes, using local alternatives and creating new fusion dishes. Technology is a lifeline. Vendors are selling online, using social media to reach customers, and organizing local deliveries. Digital storefronts have become new community hubs. Community initiatives are popping up, like Granite Park's offer, creating new opportunities for displaced vendors. Pop-up markets and food festivals celebrate resilience and diversity. These efforts are more than survival, they're a joyful response to adversity. The community's appetite for authentic food and connection is stronger than any ban. Innovation and solidarity are reshaping the food landscape. The past months have tested our food systems and our communities. Empty shelves became symbols of disruption and fractured relationships. Yet hope and adaptation have emerged from the crisis. Canada's rise as a key supplier shows the market's dynamism. Chefs and vendors are innovating, and communities are organizing to support their own. The most enduring lesson: the power of community. When vendors were excluded, neighbors stood with them, creating new spaces and support. Our greatest strength is in standing together. The future is uncertain, but a new recipe is being written, one of solidarity, creativity, and resilience. The storm has shown us how to build a stronger, more connected table for everyone.